Today, I'm joined by Spike Cheever, President of Evolve. Spike, welcome and thank you for joining Caspio's podcast today.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me here.
Great. So to start, can you please introduce yourself and share with everyone a little bit about your background and your role at Evolve?
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, as you introduced, my name is Spike Cheever. I currently serve as the president of Evolve, but I've worn many hats over my time while serving here. I started out in director of operations and the director of client services. But today I mainly focus on the financial and compliance endeavors of the company as well as strategy also. So that's where my focus has been narrowed. We've been fortunate to be a growing company in the healthcare space that has afforded us the ability to hire additional individuals. And our core focus in healthcare, just on the topic of Evolve, is to really help individuals stay in their home as long as possible. That's as simple as we can put it. We are the leading benefit manager for Medicaid and Medicare Advantage health plans across the U.S. that helps to coordinate ancillary services that really target safety and accessibility issues within the home. Our focus is to allow individuals to avoid institutional living, to create a more safe environment for them to live in, because when individuals stay at home, there's myriads of studies out there that show they're not only happier, but ultimately they become healthier as well. And I think ultimately that's what people want. They want to be home. They want to be in the walls of their own house, a place that they're comfortable with and a place that they are familiar with. And so if we can bring services to them at a fraction of the cost of going to a facility of some kind, and all we need is a little intervention for some service coordination, that's what we're here for. That's where we cross the boundaries between healthcare and construction and help bridge those gaps and enable the health and independence for people all over the U.S. So
I think it's amazing what you do, Spike, and it's kind of like inspiration, the mission that you've got as an organization.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we find a lot of satisfaction in that on a daily basis. We see success stories and completed service images every single day. And it's not only humbling, but it's really motivating to continue to grow and to help as many people as we possibly can and ultimately spread the goodness all over the US. So
yeah, that's great stuff. So you've been a customer of Caspio now since I think it's over 10 years. And I know you started off with one of our smallest subscription plans. You've grown into one of our larger plans, which is great to see the progression, really echoing what you're saying. You're growing as an organization as well. But if we go back 10 years, can you remember what the pain point was that you were coming to try to eradicate, and how did you find Caspio?
Yeah, the biggest pain point that we were on the hunt for back then was really trying to find a HIPAA compliant software that would afford us the ability to pass compliance audits and to meet the regulatory needs of the federal and local state governments, but also the scrutiny of our customers. I mean, they're the front lines individuals that are interacting with our database on a daily basis, and we needed a reliable product that was really HIPAA compliant, and Caspio checked all the boxes for that. It afforded us the ability to customize some of the off-the-shelf products, because there are templates. Even back then, there were still some templates that were integrated, although they were a little clunkier. Caspio's done a great job at making that better over these last 10 years. But really, it's the compliance aspect that has given us leaps and bounds above anything else.
Yeah, you mentioned HIPAA and obviously compliance as well. Why is that important for your organization?
Well, we work in healthcare, and so therefore we're governed by the laws of HIPAA. We need to be mindful of the type of information that we have from a PHI and a PII perspective. And a lot of that comes into the training of the personnel that we have and the type of data that we collect and how we personally interact with it. But being able to limit that from a technological control really helps to enhance the integrity of the product, not only that we're offering, but ultimately that Caspio is offering us as well. And so that's why it's a pretty big component, is because that's where we sit, is in the healthcare space.
Yeah. And I know you've built the majority of the application yourself, and obviously being self-taught. How was the learning with low code?
Well, luckily these days, YouTube University really helps out a lot. But I can't take all the credit. Whenever there's pain points, the Caspio support success team or customer success team has always been there to answer my questions and really help out and provide some insight on stuff. I'm not a technological person by trade. And so if I can figure it out, I think it's set up in a nice plug and play way that allows us to click and drag how we need to and just kind of test it. And the preview environments are awesome because you can see what works and what doesn't, how you broke it before you even deploy it. So it's great.
So can you share with everyone, Spike, what does your application do and who are the end users?
Well, our application does a myriad of things. When we first started, it was just there to help create provider profiles and to help track our providers and making sure that we have their information in a central location. But with the integration of all of the automated like triggered actions and additional features that Caspio's added over the last 10 years, it's really enhanced our ability to offer different web-based applications to not only our providers, but our health plan partners as well, so that they have full transparency on what's going on. And then we can help manage it and provide some intervention on our side as well from our angle. So every stakeholder involved in our business operations has access to it in their own way. And it's all established based on appropriate technical controls and user access rights and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, you mentioned the different stakeholders there. How does the application work amongst those, obviously, when you're looking at compliance and transparency across the different teams?
Well, on the compliance front of that, we are very used to being audited by our health plan partners.
Right.
Those audits could be a myriad of things, but the main thing that they're most concerned about are compliance and security. They want to know when they send us member information, how are we protecting that member information? So having the security certifications that Caspio holds helps to speak to that to some degree. But then we've also decided to take on our own dose of scrutiny, where we have become high trust certified. And in the healthcare space, like that's kind of the Mac Daddy of security certifications. All the health plans across the nation recognize the scrutiny that takes place to obtain that. And the fact that we were able to obtain it while using the Caspio side of stuff, I think speaks leaps and bounds as to the quality of the product itself. And so when it comes to that certification and the compliance aspect for our healthcare partners, we just, it's kind of like a diploma. We slide it across the desk and instantly it checks a lot of those compliance certification requirements that they have, and it reduces that turnaround time from the start of an audit to the completion of an audit and allows us to move a little bit faster. So,
no, thank you for sharing that. And I'm interested to hear about how your applications evolved from your initial idea over 10 years ago to where you are today.
Well, a lot of it comes with early mornings and late nights, just
yeah,
poking around and trying to see what this new feature does, or reading some press release that you guys have dropped, or watching a new YouTube video, or learning from other customers and the community forum that's available to read. Is really just understanding from a customer perspective. Like, you obviously have other customers, they're expressing their frustrations or their needs or expressing their ideas. And as I began to read all of that and exposing myself to it, like, I mean, I think all of us at some point have those creative juices flowing and they just start to go. And so you just start to click and drag and test drive stuff and see what happens. And then from there, it just begins to blossom and to grow. It's just kind of like a plant or a tree. Like, it starts small, and then as you feed it, it'll grow to a bigger thing.
Yeah. So you mentioned before about the different types of end users that you have from the application or using the application. How do you obtain feedback from them to make those changes?
Some of it comes from them. Yeah. Most of it's all internal feedback from our team internally. Not a lot of it comes externally, but we always look for ways to improve for our customers as any organization would. And so definitely some of that comes from them specifically, in their respective spheres. So.
Yeah. And obviously it's the hot topic right now, and it continues to be, is AI. How's your thinking around AI and introducing that into your workflow?
I mean, we're trying to keep a pulse on it. AI in healthcare is a pretty big buzzword right now, as it is in any industry. But for us, the interesting part about AI in healthcare is it's still kind of the Wild West with AI, and healthcare is usually the last to adopt Wild West philosophies, because of the sensitivity related to HIPAA federal regulations. So I foresee a day that will become more prevalent. Right now it's going slow. From our perspective, we're kind of taking the same approach. It's simply because we have to be mindful of it. Like the scrutiny of the data that we hold is paramount, and we need to be mindful that we are crossing all of our T's and dotting all of our I's before we implement something widespread.
Yeah. And we just talked earlier about you speaking with one of our other customers, Healthcare Provider Solutions, and Drew Rowley. He joined one of the podcasts recently. What kind of prompted you that conversation? Did you connect with him through the podcast, or how did you connect?
Good question. So it actually came about through reading the community forums. I was encountering a pain point of trying to expand a service or automate a feature on the back end within the Caspio bridge platform, and it came across just reading, which exposed the video, and I watched it, and I was like, well, they might have the exact solution or have figured out the exact solution that I'm trying to figure out. And so I got in contact with our customer support manager, Allison, and she's like, well, they're actually a customer of mine too. Let me set up a meeting. And so we were able to have a conversation and talk about how they were able to solve that issue in particular. It didn't quite lead to the result that I was hoping for, but we've since figured it out. And I think that's part of the journey of solving problems, is just going down any road possible that's applicable, and seeing if it can ultimately provide you with the solution that is necessary.
Yeah. And I've actually had similar feedback from other customers that I've contacted, customers that I've been doing these podcasts for the last couple of years, and regarding use cases and how they can help and things. So it's great to see some customers cross-pollinating and making contacts and having further conversations.
Yeah, it was fun. Drew was very nice. His team was accommodating, and it was nice to be able to bounce some questions off of from the creative side.
Yeah. As we said at the very beginning, your organization does some amazing things. So what do you see as the most rewarding part of the application impacting what you do as an organization on a regular basis?
Well, just from the low code perspective, being able to implement or fix things really quick. The speed of implementation is paramount, and with all of the moving parts, bringing on new partners, bringing on new providers, new employees, whoever it might be, like, we want to harness the creativity and the expertise of all individuals. And so if we can do so in a way that implements the course of action very quickly, then we're all about that. We are running very fast right now, and so having the ability to do that in parallel with our speed of growth is tremendous.
Yeah. And as you said at the very beginning, Spike, your organization's growing, which is amazing to see. But I know looking ahead, it's always difficult to say. What would you say over the next few years? How do you see your application evolving?
Well, we're definitely improving and enhancing our automation. There's a lot of external tools and integrations that are continuing to pop up with Caspio. As you guys do new releases on a monthly or quarterly basis. And I feel like the last 2 years, your releases have really been more on the monthly cadence instead of the quarterly cadence, and that's been tremendous for us. And being able to integrate additional tools to harness and leverage that automation reduces the overhead of personnel and ultimately the overhead of workloads and operational procedures. So then we can handle more with less.
Yeah.
And then so that's ultimately where we are striving to be. At the last year is where we really started to dig into it. And so far this year, we've been able to cross off many of our development roadmap goals. And we have more in the pipeline that we're going to be working on to make it a better user experience for all individuals, all stakeholders that we've already discussed. So,
yeah. Sounds amazing, Spike. So for anyone watching this podcast and considering Caspio or low code, what advice would you give them?
Schedule a demo. Just see if it's applicable. I am very pleased with the product specifically. I don't have any concerns. I think the customer success team is really tremendous. Allison in particular, she's always there to answer my calls. And so I would say just schedule the demo, see what it's about.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being a Caspio customer for over 10 years. We really appreciate your business. And thank you for sharing your low code and Caspio journey. I'm sure many of the watchers of this podcast are going to find it fascinating. Thank you, Spike.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.